Sort of business approval, call roll.
Commissioner Cook? Yes. Commissioner David Gammon?
Here.
Commissioner Dodd?
Here.
Commissioner Johnson?
Here.
Commissioner Buchanan? Commissioner Gooch?
Here.
Chairman McAdoo?
Here. On Commissioner Buchanan, she had surgery, so she will not be with us tonight. But she's doing great, but still, she's trying to recoup from that. That's the reason she's not here tonight. Okay, next on the agenda is approve the minutes.
Mr. Chairman, I reviewed the minutes and find them in order and move for approval.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, next on the agenda is the Goldstein Building. Action is coming up now. Good evening. Michael? Turn, yeah.
Mr. Warren didn't see anything that was urgent. This was just from a visual inspection. He said that he expected to see sagging floors, but he didn't see that there was any. He thinks it was based on the way the foundation was put in, and it had a built-in rise to it where the floors were not level to start out with. But there was nothing in his report. He didn't see any evidence of any kind of performance issues with the building. The next part of his report will be coming in, I think, in August. It'll be the full, more complete report. So far, he doesn't really have any recommendations, but he doesn't see anything that's showing any signs of distress with the building.
I noticed he didn't mention anything about the roof too in this report.
He has no. There's nothing on here yet. He looked at the condition of the roof itself. I mean, the roof has sags in it, but the material that's covering the roof is still it still has a few more years on it.
So we're going to get a complete report in August?
That's what he said. He had a vacation planned, and so I think he was originally planning on being here, Mr. Chairman, but he had a vacation plan that took him out of town, and so anyway, he'll be here at the next meeting.
Any questions on the Goldstein Building? Probably just need to wait till next month and get the complete report since there's nothing pressing. I was concerned about something pressing, like urgent, like the sky is falling and we'll be responsible. And so as long as we can wait till August, that's fine. Unless any commissioner have any questions. Okay, if not, we'll move on to archives.
The archives building, there's a couple of items left on the punch list, and the final pay request has been sent, but it's up and operational. The only items that are left are just a couple of little cosmetic items. Nothing that's going to prevent him from operating normally.
Question on archives? Okay, next on the agenda, 20 North.
20 North, he's also issued the final pay request. There's a small punch list to be completed there, but there again, nothing that would keep the building from operating normally.
Okay, just as soon as these two are completely finished, I think the mayor's office is going to set up a open house for all the commissioners to have a tour and see, so am I right on that, Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
What's the status of occupancy, Chairman?
On which one, Archives or 20
On
North?
the 20 North?
I'm sorry.
What's the status of occupancy? Is probation there and settled in, and IT settled in, and what about the child services?
Everyone's there.
And
Everyone's operational. And the roof, I'm sorry, the roof is complete as well. The warranty work on the roof is complete. They've reestablished I think we have 26 years left on the roof warranty.
I was thinking, Mr. Chairman, before the next full commission meeting in August, would this committee like to extend the invitation, maybe have it opened up and people in those departments stay a little bit late, and then open it up for the commission to come take a tour? Would y'all like to do that? Is that something we could line up for you? Just walk through, come before the 6 o'clock meeting, between 5 and 6, before we start the full commission, go and walk through. We could send out notification and let everybody come a little bit early and then take the tour.
that sounds good,
Okay.
especially having them to stay over there, because some of the commissioners can meet them. And
Sure.
and know who they are and everything, so I think that's an excellent idea.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Okay, next, Lange Agricultural Building.
Yes, sir. On the Lane Agri Park, the drywall this is from the car accident. The drywall is 80% complete. They've started painting. All the floor covering has been ordered, and the brick has been ordered. So I don't have a time frame. I think it's kind of pending on when some of this stuff arrives, but they've been out there working on every day. So.
Is everybody aware of what occurred? Okay. Yeah, to the building, I think it's coming pretty close, Ben, close to 500,000 damage.
Yes, 460, 478, something like that.
You have insurance?
Yeah, but I'm not sure you didn't have that much.
Not that much.
Yeah, so we'll be picking that up.
Yes, sir. Yeah, because we have a $100,000 deductible. Insurance will pick up anything over the 100,000, so we're probably good for, if he had minimum coverage 25, 50, 10, he probably had 10,000 limit of liability for property damage, and then we'll pick up the balance after our 100,000 deductible.
Any questions on that? Okay, next, Subplus property inventory update. I think
Mr. Sandlin.
Deputy Director is coming up to give us that report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. Quick report this month, just to bring you up to date on our Bragg Avenue. It is over in the County Attorney's Office. That's the encroachment that was built onto that property. They did find out that there was a P.O. box associated with that property in Nashville, so they're sending out the same letter, and I think they've actually done so. I talked to Nick earlier this week and as well as today, and so they're running that trail to see if anything pops up there. Otherwise, we're going to have to go and ring the doorbell, I believe, and the old-fashioned way, and let them know that what's happened. So that's on Bragg Avenue, that 552 Bragg Avenue. The other piece of property I want to bring to you, actually, was owned by the Board of Education back in 1918. It was given to them. And we've talked about this property. Actually, the County Commissioner Buchanan, we've notified everybody around that church out there on Miller Road. If you remember me telling you, that was one of the ones that we first looked at. It's a .28 of an acre, little bitty piece of property behind the church there. We thought the church might be a interested party on that. Well, it was quitclaimed to the county in 1997. So the Board of Education quitclaimed that to the county in 1997. We have gotten an offer on that piece of property, and we can handle it in a couple of ways. We can go ahead and take this offer and run it through and close it. It'll be a quitclaim deed to that. The person's grandmother used to live right across the street, and so they just felt like they would want to do it. It's a good offer, depending on what we decide to do tonight, whether we disclose what that offer is at this point, but it is a great offer for .28 of an acre. If you decide you want to sell it this way, this is quick and easy to do it that way, since we've already notified everybody around there, or we could take it to the auction and put it into this auction with a minimum bid of this offer and go from that way if you want to. It doesn't cost the buyer any more money. It's just a little time, because we're planning on selling these other properties that you did last month, in September. So y'all had wanted a fall type auction in the fall, so I'm thinking September would be a good time, still good weather, to do these other pieces, and we'll do them all at the same time. But if you feel comfortable with this one, we can disclose it and sell the property. So otherwise, this one has some surface rocks on it. Not too desirable, really, but I haven't seen a piece of property yet that somebody didn't own. So this person kind of wants to keep it close to the family or across the road from where their family was, and they may end up donating it, they said, maybe later on to the church or something for further use. But that's... my opinion is we take the offer that they've given. It's a great offer. I don't see keeping them till the auction time, another month and a half away maybe, to put it at the auction there, minimum bid type thing, and let our county attorney handle it and put a quick claim deed on it. Now, if they want to do if they want to check and see exactly is it .28 and do another survey or something, that would be on the buyer's side. That would not be on our side. We wouldn't spend any money on this property. So we would just close and have our part of closing, and of course they would have their part of closing as well, as far as expenses are concerned.
Commissioner
Mr. Chair, I agree with the deputy mayor on that. I think it would, we got a good offer now, and 2 months it may not be there, so I would say we go ahead and take it now. That would be my recommendation.
Okay.
And I'll put that in form of a motion.
Got a form of motion, go ahead and sell it. Do I hear a second? Got a second. Any questions? Concern, comments? If not, call the roll.
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Cook? Yes. Commissioner Gammon?
Yes.
Commissioner Dodd?
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson?
Yes.
Commissioner Gooch?
Yes.
Chairman McAdoo?
Yes.
That's all I've got. Mr. Chairman, any other?
Got any other questions for the deputy director on this property, on our excess surplus properties? All right. Okay, next on the agenda is One Stop.
Okay, thank you. I don't have much to report on One Stop. The contractor, Rock City, the owner, I believe, Mr. Lee, came in today to the mayor's office and signed the contract. And so that's where we're at on that, for the contract between the contractor and the PBA.
Mr. Chairman, just to remind me, somebody inquired today about who's renting the lease space. Remind me which entity of the state. It's not DMV, is it?
Department of Safety. Department of Safety.
Is the DMV, the license,
It's remaining.
it's staying as is?
It's staying in the, when they renewed Mr. Pettigo, when they renewed the lease with Mr. Pettigo, who owns that current location, he put in the lease that he would expand the parking and increase access to the facility, but they're staying there where you go, if you're 16, you do your driver testing and stuff there. This will be one of 4 new express stations across the state. And so it's going to be less manpower in this facility with more kiosks for renewal, driver's license renewals.
At the Department of Safety? Or you're still referring to the license?
No, at our location.
Okay, so the new facility
Or express renewal.
will help resolve the overcrowding at the existing?
That is correct. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
More questions on One Stop? Right, next on the agenda, community care.
Okay, the construction at the community care, they've been waiting on some drawings to be okayed by the state for a firewall, and so those drawings have been approved by the state and returned to the architect. And so I think my best guess would be the project's still probably 3 weeks from completion. The work that they've done so far looks really good. It's been a great facelift for that facility.
Any questions on community care? If not, next on the agenda, Ccrc Daycare Building.
I'll take that, Mr. Chairman. Members, you have a copy from Johnson Bailey, the architect who is working. This is for informational purposes only to share with you, and if you'll scroll through the letter from Johnson Bailey, you'll see the preliminary design of the footprint and interior and exterior of what it's going to look like. So it's going to be pretty close to what they're trying to get, the same brick design of and color, so it'll blend in. You know, we currently have a daycare facility. It's in a double wide trailer with an outdoor playground that's just to the left of where this building will be placed. This will be placed on the back section closest to the playground of where the old foundation of the old wing that they tore down from the original part of the nursing home. But this will be the board is moving forward to put in a 24-hour-a-day daycare center. There's not another one anywhere close to being open 24 hours a day. This is a great recruiting tool for county employees and will be a great retention tool for county employees. We sent a poll out through HR. Ms. Stevenson sent a poll out to all county employees, and we had over 347 responses saying that they would use this facility, because we have Sheriff's Department, our dispatchers, our EMS, all have 3 shifts, and there's no other place. Many people who work those 3 shifts don't have any place to take their kids. So unfortunately, they sit at home and not work. They would like to work, but they care. And so if we can come in and arrange what the board has talked about, somewhere very competitive in the market. I didn't realize how much daycare costs per kid per week. Sometimes people are saying that it's cheaper for them to stay home to pay for daycare for 2 kids. So this is a great opportunity. It'll house up to, I think, 120. It'll be licensed by the state Department of Health, up to 120 kids. I already have a kitchen built in to the nursing home, so all they got to do is prepare the meals and just cart them over to this facility right out the back door. the CCRC board's kind of excited about it. Ms. Cook, we've been talking about it for some time, and this will be a new novelty plus an opportunity to help our county employees as well.
Any discussion, any questions? Mr. Gooch?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Will this just be for county employees, or is it open to the
No,
public?
sir. Well, we're building it for what it's licensed for. We'll make it available. Right now, the double wide next door is for nursing home employees, because they have 3 shifts out there. We'll open it up first to county employees, and then if we don't get enough for county employees, then there's several industries. I know the Boys and Girls Club, as well as United Way, has approached us. If there's enough room, they would like to market it to Pillsbury, Rich Products, some of those other manufacturing plants who run 3 shifts as well. And so we'll make sure that if it's not full, we'll make sure that it's full. So
it could be open to the public.
That's correct, yes, sir.
Not necessarily work at Pillsbury or something, but
correct.
If we have open spaces.
Yes,
All right,
sir.
thank you.
Any other questions? All right, I'd like to make one comment on this. Is not only is it beneficial to the employees of our county, but when we started this, Commissioner Cook can witness that it's good therapy for the senior citizens out there. They look forward in the...
Yeah, they currently have those kind of double-decker, strollers that they put them in, and they'll put 2 kids up on the second and then 2 kids down, and they stroll them through, and our patients are sitting out in a wheelchair, and they come up and just like to touch your hair and talk to them, and they don't get a chance to see kids. They really don't, and now that once the restrictions are down and we're open back up, it's going to be kind of cool.
The children cry if they don't get to go see their grandparents over there.
Yeah.
And they have certain ones that they go to because those residents have candy or something that they give them. And their wagon they go in looks like a train.
Do they like to come out to your room for candy and stuff? Do they like to come out to your room for candy and stuff? Okay, yeah, I know that.
Oh, me. But anyway, it's a win-win situation. Sure is. Okay, next on the agenda, if not any questions, State Farm Building.
Yes, sir, the State Farm Building, after the last commission meeting, given me the authority to execute the letter of intent. The letter of intent, we received a prototype from the real estate company. There were some tweaks that both of our attorneys, Mr. Reed and Mr. Christensen, made. Those tweaks were redrafted, sent back to the real estate company. The real estate company has it, our letter of intent. We have not advanced any funds at this point. So our letter of intent, along with State Farm, is being coupled together, and then it will be taken to the owners of the property who purchased it from State Farm back in 2013. So they're thinking probably 15th, 20th of August, we should hear some word back whether or not they will accept the offer. We put 2 contingencies in the letter of agreement, in that if the company who owns it wants more money than what we have proposed to pay, the $25,500,000 is one that will allow us to back out of the letter of intent. And also the phase 1, environmental phase 1, we will do environmental phase 1, we're just doing our due diligence, making sure there's no cracks in the foundation, there's no asbestos in the building. We already know that was outlawed anyway, so I don't think that we'll find that in that clean of a building. But if there is something that comes back in phase 1 environmental study, is the second option that will allow us to back out of the letter of intent.
Any questions? on State Farm.
Yes, sir,
Mr.
thank you.
Dodd.
You had mentioned no money has changed hands. Did the $100,000 down payment transpire?
No, we still have not. They will let us know once State Farm has put their letter of intent together, then it will go in with State Farm at the same time with ours, but we have not advanced or written a check.
And did I hear you say Mr. Jeff Reed, attorney, is also looking at the letter?
Yeah, Mr. Reed and Mr. Christensen both met in my office with the representative from the real estate company out of Nashville. And I requested Mr. Reed, not to knock Mr. Christensen, but Mr. Reed has had, he had a deeper knowledge of real estate transactions dealing with the schools in the past. And Nick agreed with that.
Yeah, and I find that very comforting as well, that the person of his skill set is looking at the contracts.
Okay, any other questions on State Farm building? If not, Station 57 estimates.
Yes, sir. Station 57, I received a call from, and as well as Commissioner Buchanan. She received a call from a couple of 2 or 3 citizens out in that area and asked myself, Chairman Reed, Mr. Sandlin, to appear at Station 57. Now, Station 57 is not manned, but it does belong to the county. It's not a volunteer station any longer. It's right before you go across the viaduct, the interstate, out in Buchanan. The lady was, she pointed out a lot of deficiencies. She's a neighbor and used to work as a volunteer in that department before it came over to us. Like there's some limbs from a pine tree that's hanging over the roof that probably need to be cut down. There's some siding that's got a lot of algae growing up on the outside of it. Probably some of that could be removed. There's a couple of gutters that are missing on the roof. She pointed out the concrete pad where the tanker is that sits out there in that district was cracked, but you know, all concrete cracks at some point in time, especially with 3,000 gallons of water in it. I don't think that need to be removed, but I think there's some cosmetic things that we could probably do. So what I'm asking tonight of this committee is to give Mr. Mankin the authority to go ahead and maybe get some ideas on what it would cost to fix the gutter and maybe pressure wash or whatever needs to be done from a cosmetic standpoint. And then come back with that, and then we would send it on to budget if this committee feels we need to do that.
Mr. Dodd?
Thank you, Chairman. There was also, I think, wasn't there some siding that had rotted away from the ground up?
Coming from the, yes, sir.
All of the items in the photographs are going to be looked at?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I think we need to address all those issues cosmetically on the outside. And if we need to put in a new harding board or whatever it may be.
And I think but Commissioner Buchanan and Chairman Reed were advocates for this. Do we need a motion from this board to do that, or just let Mr. Mankin bring us back numbers and then make a motion?
I think just giving him the direction, I don't think we need it. Mr. Chairman, that's your call. If we just tell him to do that, I'm sure he'll be happy to get that done. And Mr. Farley is out on FLMA, so he won't be there to assist. He's having some surgery.
Yeah, just make Ben going out there and do it.
Yeah.
Well,
Mr. Mankin worked for the county, so.
well, I know we can ask him to do it, but then we need to come back here once he determines what the cost is going to be, because you know it wasn't in his budget.
Yeah, come on back.
Yes. Okay. All right.
Then when he come back here with estimates, then
He'll be saying take it out of Mr. Farley's budget because it's a fire hall, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do that. I'll ask him to get a crew out there and kind of give us an estimate.
Any other discussion on Station 57? If not, next on the agenda, Old Rockville Gym.
Yes, sir. This is, members, if you know where the old gym is on Old Rockville Road, on the old Highway 99. It's currently being leased for $1 a year to the Ruetan Club that utilizes it, and I think they use that as their Rockville archives and library. So there was thought that the school belonged to the school system, Rutherford County Board of Education, and then we got a call from Mr. Spurlock, who said that they found out that it didn't belong to them, it belongs to the county, so they're not going to pay for it out of their budget. So it comes back to the county. We did some more research, and here's what we found. Denise Terranova works for Lisa. She said, and this is a note from Lisa dated July 6th, Denise investigated this morning in her asset tracking system. She shows that the land asset on the county side, the land asset is on the county side, but the building was still in the school side. Now, we talked to Mr. Trey Lee earlier today, Mr. Sandlin did, and Mr. Lee didn't understand how that worked, and he said, well, that means that we cut the grass and you fix the roof. So we're kind of at a standstill. I don't know how what you want to do. We've got, Commissioner Reed brought 3 quotes. One is $23,842. One is $55,000, and the other one's $43,000. One's a complete tear off, and I believe, and the other 2 are spray applications. I'm looking for direction based on what. Do we kick this back to the Board of Education? I know that Mr. Spurlock is wanting to use that for the wrestling team at Rockville. That was my indication.
If I think it, I don't know why our Health and Ed Committee, we kick it to them and let them kick it to the school board.
All right. You want to send it to Health
Send
and
it to
Ed?
Health and Ed. Because the Health and Ed Committee is like a go-between school board and the county commission. So let them address it and then send it back to us if we need to do anything to the building.
Okay.
Any other discussion on the
I'll do that.
old Rockville Gym?
No, sir.
Commissioner Gooch?
Okay, explain it one more time. You're saying that who owns the building?
She says that she shows in her that she shows that the land asset is on our inventory in the asset tracking system we have in the county. She lists every asset that we have. The land is on us, and then it says the building is still on the school side. He said she received information from the register of deeds showing a transfer on a quick claim deed in August of 2009.
And is there anything in the building right now?
Yeah, they use it, I believe. Don't they, Pettis?
Yes. They do what?
I was asking Pettis. So, Mr. Marshall, you representing the Conservation Board, you all are prepared to put the floor down. Okay, so we need to push this along because the roof needs to be whatever application before fall gets here.
Okay, so my understanding is it's the community that's using the building, but not the school system.
Well,
Or
currently, Commissioner Reed.
Yes, come on up.
For some reason, I was given the hot potato on this thing that, nobody wants to hold it right now. And then this afternoon, about 3:30, I had the president of the Rudden Club give me the quotes here. So what you're looking at there is that gymnasium is attached to part of the original old school. That was Rockville High School, later became the elementary school, and this was given back to the community to be used. And the community does. With the Rudden Club, they have their different activities out there. They have the youth programs where they always had ball teams and things of this type to prepare youth things. Boy Scouts meet in it out there. The 4th of July, which is the oldest annual picnic in the state of Tennessee. It made 91 years this year. But what that gymnasium has been used for is for the community use. And through the Conservation Board, it's been kept up that way with the Ruttons supporting it too. But what it has been, the original floor that was put down is not what you would call a wood floor. It's a different type of floor that they were putting in back in the 70s for the elementary schools or whatever. Well, over the years, it's sort of like, if any of you remember an old basketball that you kept around for a while to get sticky, that rubber type thing, well, that's what's happened to that floor out there, and it's just something you don't like to go in there and walk on or play on. And a lot of the community goes there in the winter to walk. So the Conservation Board's been kind enough to offer to put down, I think it's $32,000 to put down this floor to replace that so the community can use it. And then the high school is needing extra room for wrestling team. They've got so many. The high school out there this time is going to have, I think, 2,450 students in that school, built for 23. And then next year they're looking at 25,000 in that. So gym time is hard to come up with in there, even with, I think they got 2 gyms in that thing, I think, isn't it, John? But still, the wrestling team, they're talking about letting them to come down and use this gym if we get that all set up too. And something unique in that community, we've talked about these fire stations we're putting up at Rockville, Amoville, and Christiana, and Las Casas, how it will once again join the communities together. This is something that high school has done out there, where the high school football players and baseball players have come to that picnic, have come to the turkey shoots and things like that and assisted. And the people have seen these students coming back to the community, and it's tying that community all together. So this is another thing of tying together. Now you got 3 bids there. 2 of them are just for that one building of the gymnasium. The rest of the building has a metal roof. It doesn't have the old rubberized type roof on it. It has a metal roof. But there's one in there for, I think, $48,000 or something like that. That one right there, they went on and looked at the metal roof, and the screws are starting to back out of that metal. Any of you have a metal roof on a lot of buildings, after a period of time of vibration, rain, and whatever, those screws will back out. So you have to check them every so often. If not, you'll get leaks in those. Well, in that bid is also repairing that metal roof as well. So that's why it's a little bit more. I think that's the people that have done the courthouse in it, that done that one. So that's what this is, and that's the reason for that, and that's why it's not just for the school to use, it's for the entire community. It's sort of like these community buildings we've had around the county that we've worked with through conservation. That's how this one all began, how it all sprung up. It was something that was designed for the community.
But the Conservation Board is not opposed to the wrestling team practicing out there? Or?
No, this is just another extension of using what we've got.
Well, I'm of the opinion that if it's mainly for the community, that we would bear more of the responsibilities than the school board.
Well, it's whatever. And I sat down with the school board. I got, right after this commission meeting, our last commission meeting here, I was approached and told, said, hey, we're going to take care of this by the school board. And we had a meeting out there, and I showed up with the Rudden Club, and we didn't have a school board because they had found where they didn't own the building. So I bring it back to the mayor, and now we find out. So it's sort of like I said, nobody wants this this ball. I'll keep passing it around.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll help with
So-
the ball. I'm going to make a motion that we send this to budget. I think that would be the next appropriate committee to see if we can find funding for the roof.
Thank you, Commissioner, and next 4th of July picnic, we'll put your name up there, probably.
I'll second that, but I want to make a comment. How can a building be on our property without us giving them permission to put it on?
Well, it's kind of confusing, Commissioner, because so many different parcels of our school buildings, some are owned. I think that at some point in time, Steve, didn't the commission in some years past say that everything's going to be in the county's name? But some going back to Rockville Elementary found out, because we're going to try to build the public health and safety building out there, that one that we bought from Tommy Sanford's mother-in-law in 1991 is in the name of the Rutherford County School Board, not in the county. So it's...
We did have land in
end of the day,
Rutherford
it's all...
County School Board.
I'm sorry?
We did have land at one time in the school board's name.
Yes, ma'am. End of the day, it's all county taxpayers. You know, we just got to figure out whose bucket of money it's coming out of.
I think that's the case with McFadden Community Center, that the land is county, but the building is owned by the city, or vice versa or something.
Who pays the utilities then?
John, y'all, Rutan Club is paying
Okay.
for that.
Is this just for the gym roof, or will this be for the other buildings in your motion, or what?
My motion is just for the gym roof and looking at any repairs that might be needed for the metal roof.
So it's for the metal roof also?
Okay.
To send to budget for consideration, yes.
Okay, we can do that.
So that's the motion. Who seconded? Commissioner
Carol.
Cook. Conservation Board seem to be in charge of this, and I got a concern myself. I really do. Because if we do this, and then you're going to allow the school board and their activities to come in and set an agenda on when they're going to use the building. So will it be a conflict? In other words, Conservation Board or the school board, which one of the two is going to set this agenda on who uses this building? Now, you're starting out with 2 or 3 wrestling teams. Next thing you know, you will have some basketball and other school activities. And then if the school come on and say, hey, we're going to use the building 6 o'clock Thursday evening, Conservation Board said, nah, we got something scheduled for 6 o'clock Thursday evening. Now, who's going to take the initiative or whatever to take care of this? I would like to hear from the Conservation Board member back there and get some clarification. Because I don't want to go out there and think I'm doing a community building and the school board calling the shots. That's just my personal opinion.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. John Marshall on the Conservation Board. I completely understand your concerns and happy to address them. And we kind of back into some of this on some of our properties where we sponsor a lot of the recreational activities. And it's we definitely the priority is to county recreation. We try to be good stewards of that and also understand that the county school sides has similar programming and serves the same students. But at the end of the day, they know as we oversee our buildings, the few that we have, and our park space, that always county recreation or county functions and programming is the priority, just like, but we do try to work with them when it's available, just like the school system has been gracious for many years to allow us to have access to all of their gyms across the county, to be able to have county recreation events in our junior pro basketball program, our summer open recreation leagues that we have. So we have a really good partnership and understanding with the school systems and the things that we do, but we definitely understand we're here for our county side programming, and that is the priority for what we do in those functions.
Okay, is there any questions from committee members? I think myself personally, I would like to see if we're going to send this on the budget, vote to send the budget, where we're going to send it to, that be specified in whatever we do, that the Conservation Board will be the one to set the schedule for the usage of these buildings. He brought up about the gyms being used now. I was a part of that. And basically what we wanted some activities, and we didn't want our gyms closed or whatnot so that the kids would have something to do during the summer. So if the Conservation Board is going to be the one responsible, I think we need to put it out there up front now. Because if we don't, we could be looking at a conflict down the line.
With this motion, Mr. Chairman, might I suggest that as it's traveling to the Budget Committee, I can have our county attorney look into it and be prepared to give us his legal opinion on who it belongs to. And then maybe we get the budget and both the school board bucket of money and the county bucket of money go in 50-50. You know, that's a suggestion, you know.
Will you accept that, Commissioner Gooch? I'll draw it up and send it forward like that?
Well, I'll check on the attorney. I think what he's asking is that you put in your motion that the Conservation Board has control of the calendar.
Oh, yeah, I'll be happy, yes.
Okay.
And I think that from what I'm hearing is that the Conservation Board and the school board have had a really good relationship. And so I trust that will go forward. But you're wanting in my motion to say that the Conservation Board does the scheduling?
Conservation Board have full responsibility of doing the scheduling of events in this particular building.
What, don't they already have that authority?
I don't know if they do or not. I just heard that the wrestling team is coming over there, and we don't know what else they're going to bring over there in the future.
I'll put it in my motion.
Okay, only reason I wanted it in the motion because now we all agree, you know, you sit there with the school board, they elected and everything, we all agree now. But what about 3 or 4 years down the road when it's new people or whatever? And if we go ahead and clarify it and get it corrected now, we don't have to worry about that. Okay, any other discussion?
Clarify the motion.
Yeah, please reread the motion.
Motion to repair the old Rockville Gym roof and forward to the Budget Committee to determine funding, and the Conservation Board will set the scheduling for the building.
Mr. Chairman?
Any other details, or?
Chairman.
Sorry, I had a question. We got the county, the school board, Conservation Board. I'm just wondering, there's a lot of activities going there. I already found out. One of my questions was who has a key to it and lets folks in it. My biggest question is the insurance. Who would be responsible if someone got hurt in the building?
Well, between the Conservation Board and the county, we're all covered in the same policy, county school board. Ruetan, who uses the building, they provide a certificate of insurance for using it as well. We're covered.
Any other questions on the motion? All right, call the roll.
Commissioner Cook?
Yes.
Commissioner Gammon?
Yes.
Commissioner Dodd?
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson?
Yes.
Commissioner Gooch?
Yes.
Chairman McAdoo?
Yes. Okay. Next on the agenda, Restrictive Convenience Twin Creeks.
Yeah, it's the Restrictive Covenants of Twin Creeks, Section 4 subdivision. Mr. Chairman, back in back in 2001, Larry and Linda Parker, at that time, owned 51% of the parcels in this subdivision, Twin Creeks. It's off of 1 Mile Lane, off of Almaville Road. And at that point in time, they donated our lot where our EMS ambulance service is located, going into that subdivision. Well, there are restrictive covenants that's still in place, but you can make an amendment, and there's still 11 years left in that restrictive covenant for the subdivision. An amendment can be made at any point in time. The covenant says that that everything has to be residential unless there's an amendment made. And in order to change the amendment or to make the amendment effective, and it has to have 51% of the parcels have to, who at the time owned by 51%. So what they're wanting to do, Mark and Lisa Dye, they are desiring to sell their property to a convenience store operator, and it's already been rezoned by the city of Smyrna to C2, which allows commercial. And it's right on the corner of 1 Mile, right across from where our ambulance service is located, on corner of 1 Mile and Almaville Road. Everybody on that road has signed off, and they're looking for one more, and that is Rutherford County to sign off on amending the restrictive covenants. They came, Mr. and Mrs. Dye and the real estate agent came to the mayor's office and asked for me to sign off on that, and I said, I am not signing off on that. That's a county commission, and we start through the proper process of bringing it before this committee, before it goes to the full commission. Smyrna's pushing to get that because it's increasing their sales revenue, as well as they like to see more development commercially, if you know where I'm talking about. I'll bring that before you at the request of citizens in that area.
Oh, okay, Mr. Chairman, I think my question would be, so you're saying to amend it for that commercial,
correct,
that 51% of the people who live in that neighborhood would have to agree and sign off?
Yes, and I believe they have enough, they're needing one more vote to give them that 51%, and they approached the county. Okay,
my next question would be, they've got so far, I guess, let's just say 50%, we needed one more person. Have the other ones said no?
Steve, I'm not sure that they've even, you can suspend the rules.
Like a motion to suspend the rules and let one of them representatives come forward. Motion. So here a second. All in favor?
Yes, sir.
Come on.
I'm going to leave my glasses off so Paul can recognize me. I'm Wendell Miller. I represent the owners of the property there, and basically, you know what the deal is. We came to see the mayor about getting where we were on it. No, I haven't had anybody say no yet. I've got some fence sitters, so to speak, and so it's like I said, that area out there is going to wind up going commercial anyway. Everybody sees it coming. The covenants and restrictions that's on the property now, when they put those in, you usually do those to kind of set the pace for how you're doing your development and everything like that. Of course, if everybody wanted to get real sticky about it, you could go out there and almost everybody living there is violating their own covenants and restrictions right now, in various ways that they have on their property, sheds and things like that are out of compliance. And so anyway, that's just the way the area is transforming over the years. It's the town of Smyrna has already, they annexed that into the town of Smyrna now. They zoned it C2, and they expect that in the future it's probably some more of that's going to go that way as well. And so basically at this stage I have 5 of the 7 that I need. When I talked to the mayor, we had one, and I was going to get his signature that day, and he says, I got to think about it. And now he's been sick on me, so so I don't know whether I get him, but anyway, when I get down to this, it's, well, there's 13 people, there's 13 lots in that section, including yours, and of that I need seven lots represented. I have 5 right now.
Mr. Miller, the 4 that are closest to that lot?
Yes, all across the front. That's the signatures I have right now, is all the way across the front.
Mike, can you go back to showing those 4 houses plus ours? Yeah, those 4 right there.
Yeah, actually, we got those 2, and then that, and then there's actually 3 lots from going that direction, and those 3 people have signed off on.
But so you're looking at 79, right?
Yes, 79. Yeah, that's the parcel that we need to put the store on there.
And what do we have on our parcel?
Ours is our EMS right there on the corner.
Yeah, see, you got the EMS there, you got the fire hall in the back there. The next thing that's going to roll commercial actually is going to be behind the fire hall. I mean, I can, it's, some of it's in the floodplain or whatever, but that's going to be kind of the next thing to roll. The guy's got the other 2 lots over there. He's wanting a hotel to go on those 2 lots where it says on those 2 lots. Let's see, right there. He's sitting there waiting for a hotel group to come in and buy his place. So I mean, it's going that way, and so.
Okay. Did I hear? Does the covenant expire?
They will sunset. They'll sunset in about I think it's 11 years.
11 years. It says 11 years on there.
Yeah, they'll eventually sunset anyway.
I guess I'm just of my thoughts of the opinion that I would rather the citizens who live out there be the 51%.
Yeah.
That's just my thoughts. I mean, they built their home or they moved out there based on that covenant agreement, and I think they should be the ones, really not us being the deciding factor. So do you think you could get 2 more people?
I'll eventually get
without
them.
Us?
No, it's just that this seemed to be the easy route. You always take the route of least resistance.
I'm just at the thought that I would prefer the residents
and
who
the other
live
thing
out there.
too is that the county was given, they were given, they're not a residential use. They were given grace to be able to do what they want to do, and so it's like, hey, pay it forward, and so.
Who's the commissioner for that district?
I think it's Gurley, isn't it? Commissioner Gurley?
Commissioner Gurley, have you talked to him?
Oh, no, I have not. Think about that.
I hate to supersede the commissioner for that district and trying to make a decision for his district, but.
1 Mile Lane and Amble Road,
Go back to Gurley.
Mr. Gooch, I know you brought up that the citizens should make a decision out there. That's true. Normally, when something like this happened in the past, the commissioner from that district would get together and have a community meeting or whatever, and a decision be brought forward. But
I just know from the past of representing rural parts of the county, and you'll have these neighborhoods with these covenant agreements, and someone wants to break it or they whatever. I would just, again, like the community to get together out there and be the deciding factor. and Commissioner Gurley obviously probably needs to be involved in it too.
Yeah, I apologize for not doing that.
That's
didn't
okay.
think about that.
Yeah.
It didn't, it's like,
I guess I would just move that we maybe table this until our next meeting, and maybe in the meantime, you can
Yeah.
try to get 2 more.
well, I had some other people
Yeah.
who were out of town and stuff, and I connected with them this week and everything.
Definitely
so
include-
they'll get back in. I'll hopefully I'll get them and we won't have to worry about it.
It definitely include Commissioner Gurley.
So, anyway. Okay.
Chairman, you need a second.
No,
Was that
well,
in a?
I don't think we need to do a motion on that. He
If
said
we
it's
don't need a
tabled,
motion, that's fine.
but we gave him an outline of some things to do, and first of all, things to do is go talk to the Commissioner Gurley, whoever, it says Gurley, Commissioner Gurley District, and let him be involved in whatever's done in his district.
That's right.
So I don't think we need no motion on that myself. Yeah. Anybody, do everyone agree that we have the commission for that district to get involved? Okay. Any other questions on Twin Creeks? We had a motion, but I didn't get a second on it. He withdrew his motion, so. Well, he withdrew his motion. Yeah. Okay. Next on the agenda, SR 99 easement.
Turn it over to Mr. Hughes, our county engineer, and let him explain the request that's come to me to sign right-of-way easement that is currently on our sheriff's department property, with now that the city is wanting to expand some of their utilities with the widening of that section, the new section from TDOT on Highway 99. Mike?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mayor and Chairman McAdoo. If you look on your SharePoint for the item 14, State Route 99 easement, the city has asked us to do a few things. One is to grant a permanent water easement, and you can see up on the screen. The genesis of this is TDOT is widening State Route 99 New Salem Highway in front of the jail from Old Fort all the way down to the interstate in this phase. But what TDOT is requiring that the city of Murfreesboro Water Resources do is relocate their water line outside of the new pavement area of where the road's going to be widened. So what they're having to do, you can see this blue line here. This is the sheriff's property, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office property here. What they're going to have to do is move not just this property, but several properties along this section of New Salem. They're going to have to move it around these manholes here, and then what the plan is, they already have an existing sewer easement along here. They're going to also put the water line inside the sewer easement. So that's the second part. They need a permanent water easement on a section of sheriff's property that they don't have an easement on, and then they want to convert the existing sewer easement to a water and sewer easement. And then they'll also need a temporary construction easement to do the work back in here. And I'll kind of show you, it's in this area right along the front here. So with the widening of New Salem, the state is requiring that they move the water line outside of where the new pavement will be. It'll be 5-lane section through here. So they're going to have to move it out of the way and then kind of zigzag around these manholes and then move it in this it'll parallel this sewer line here. So that's what they're asking for. Refer back to this easement document. We've sent it over to the county attorney, and he is has reviewed the document, has a few items that he needs to get resolved with the Assistant City Attorney David Ives, who drafted this document. But all in all, he said it was in good order and could be presented to this body for approval.
Mr. Chairman, may I ask a question?
Yes, I think we got a city representative here.
Yes, we have Valerie Smith. She's the Assistant Director for Engineering with the Water Resources, the old Water and Sewer
For
Department.
her to come forward. Will this be
Sure,
a
my question was to Mr. Hughes, but
Okay. Committee don't mind, we can suspend the rule and ask that the city representative come forward. We may have some questions for them. Do I hear a motion to that effect?
so moved.
All those in favor?
Aye. Mike, could you zoom in a little bit, please, on that?
Yes, sir. And I also have on the pictometry, which gives us a bird's eye view. Okay, she's got a copy of the plans that they're actually going to do. Thank you.
There you go.
Hi, I'm Valerie Smith, Murfreesboro Water Resources. Thank you all for letting me present tonight and be brought under other business. I can explain this a little bit if you would like, but Mike did a good job. But this exhibit on the north side, kind of the right-hand side of the page, I've bubbled kind of the area that we need a new water easement for. And then there you'll see a heavy dark blue line through that bubbled area. That will be the water line route along the frontage of the property. The orange line there, and I hope none of you all are colorblind. The orange line there is the new right-of-way line, and it may be the existing right-of-way line as well. The area that's shaded there is the existing easements, kind of got all the little dots in it. And you see a green dashed line, that is the existing sewer main. So you can see the route of the new water main. We're going to kind of try and fit it in the existing sewer easement if we can be approved to reclassify that easement to both water and sewer. And then it would not fit with other appurtenances on that northern end. It wouldn't fit in the sewer easement, so we kind of had to cross over the sewer main and head north. So that is definitely what we're asking tonight, is one for a small portion of permanent new water easement with some temporary construction easement. I didn't show the temporary construction easement on this document, but then to reclassify the sewer easement as a water and sewer easement. Our water line right now it's not underneath the roadway, but it will be located underneath and be in conflict with proposed storm drainage that the state will be installing along the side of the road. So we are technically having to move it because it will be in conflict with storm drainage. I don't know if you have any additional questions. Well, right now, it's in the ditch, right now. And it's a shame that we're going to be in conflict with the storm drainage because we're not moving it that far. And it's a 16-inch water line. Construction on a 16-inch ductile iron water line is quite expensive, but since we are in conflict with their proposed storm drainage. That's a possibility. In this instance, true. And the state made us be very diligent in trying to get all of the water main outside of the proposed roadway. There was only a few spots further to the south towards Middle Tennessee Boulevard where those businesses along there are so close to the road that we were scared, quite frankly, to install the request easement and install the water line on their property because it was at their front door. I mean, yeah, it would basically close their ability to get in their front doors.
Commissioner Johnson?
So basically, this would negate any possibilities of any damage that will be done to the highway in the future, correct?
Yes.
Because we've all seen new roads being built, and then within 3 to 4 years, they dig it up. So this will negate all that, correct?
Yes, we're able to install, we're installing a new 16-inch water main for the full length of the project. Now, these businesses closer, not on the Rutherford County property, but the businesses closer to Middle Tennessee Boulevard, we are pulling, and the state has approved for us to put the water line kind of in that first travel lane closest to the businesses, but it is under roadway because we were afraid to put that water main at their front door, basically within 10 or 15 feet of their front doors. So we do have portions in the road, but they said where it is possible to get outside of the road that we had to.
Motion to approve.
Motion is second to approve. Any other discussion?
Chairman, I have one question. Will the jail be without water or sewer at any time?
There will be a time that the jail will be out of water. It will be a very short time because the contractor will install the new line, get it in service and chlorinated and tested, and leave a T and valve for the jail to connect to. So basically they would spend maybe an hour or two cutting in the connection between the new line and the existing service for the jail.
We have some state laws on where we have to have sewer and water in those buildings for jails. Also, I work at the workhouse, and I don't know what the limit is on that. We may have to think about that because we do have to have water and sewer there at all times.
Has anybody checked with the Sheriff's Department to get a reading on that? I mean, we got over 700 inmates out there that flush a lot.
Yeah, and the work can be done at night after. I guess they can go freely, and I've never been in a jail, but I'm assuming they have restrooms in their cells.
I'd recommend that somebody needs to talk with Sheriff Fitzhugh out there, and because I don't know what the limit is, but they have to have water and sewer there at all times. So maybe there may be something, since it is a state project kinda, that the state's needing you to do this, maybe. But I mean, that is something very important we need to look at. So we can be fined for that.
Well, we got the chairman of public safety here tonight, so I think if we call him up for it here, that he can go back to his committee and make sure that we communicate with the sheriff department. Just let the chairman of that committee do it. Communicate with them and bring us back an answer. Commissioner Pettis, Reed?
Well, I don't know that I would.
Paul, you made the motion, correct?
Yeah, Paul made the motion.
I seconded it.
Yeah.
So can we, Valerie, can
It's
you
not
just ask the sheriff? Can the water board talk to the sheriff and make sure they're within codes? Will that work, Commissioner?
It's not uncommon for us
These
to
guys are
work
very
with property
professional, and
owners.
the way they are, I think they'll do a lot of due diligence before they, but just put it in your motion if you want to. Talk to the sheriff before.
Just take care of business.
Second.
I think our county engineer can coordinate that, can you?
Yes, sir. Okay.
They're really professional.
Thank you very much.
All
Thanks,
right,
Valerie.
thank you.
Before we vote, if I may,
Go ahead,
Mike,
Commissioner.
I'm certainly supportive of this. The water department and the county, I think, need to be collaborative. Do you see any negative effect on the sheriff's property?
No, sir. No,
Thank
sir. All the work would not impact any future building because of the setbacks of the zoning. So any work would be outside of that area. And if we did a parking lot or anything like that up close, we could work with the water and sewer department to allow us to put a parking lot on top of water and sewer lines.
Any more discussion, Commissioner
one more.
Gannon?
They're going to be crossing the entrance and exit of the sheriff's department. They've got another way to get out.
They have the drive on Malloy, West Malloy Lane, so.
That's something else that might need to be brought up too, that at one point their entrance and exit may be blocked at a point so that they can get it out to all the deputies.
But we do have this secondary entrance off of Malloy.
Yeah, I thought they had something at the back there. Okay, thank you.
Hey, thank you. Any other questions? Not, call the roll.
Commissioner Cook? Yes. Commissioner Gammon?
Yes.
Commissioner Dodd?
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson?
Yes.
Commissioner Gooch?
Yes.
Chairman McAdoo?
Yes. Okay, is there any other business to come before this committee tonight? If not, I entertain a motion to adjourn.